boys and girls, keep it where it is. I know you're going to like this show. This is our third show. We're still on the air. Okay, let's get going. The name of the show is There Is a Place. There is a place where girls and boys want a social change, and how. At this place, the children want a revolution, and they want it right now. There is a place where the boys and girls are working to end the market economy right this day. At this place, the kids are setting up economic democracy. Hooray! For 200 years, unemployment, underemployment, poverty, unsafe work conditions, unsafe products, destruction of the environment have always been a major result of the market economy. Hey, boys and girls, let's start a revolution and replace the market economy with economic democracy. Okay, boys and girls, let's get started. Let's start this revolution. Okay, boys and girls, once again, this is There Is a Place, and this is episode 3, and we're going to talk about, Karl Marx. All right, let's talk about him. All right, I'm your host, a storyteller, and boys and girls, let's get started. Okay, first, we're going to do things a little differently. I'm going to start the show telling you what economic democracy is instead of ending it. First, we'll start economic democracy, boys and girls, the collective ownership or control by the workers of the factories, mills, mines, railroads, land, and all other apparatuses of producing. In other words, boys and girls, we as the workers, we have control of all these things. No one person owns this, okay, or a major stockholder or whatever. All the workers, if they work in the factory, they run the factory. They vote for their administrators to run things based on how the workers want it to be run. Okay, this is going to be economically run by the workers. In other words, economically run democratically. Economic democracy means producing to satisfy human needs, not as under the market economy for selling and profit. The goal here is not to make a profit. Okay, the goal here is to produce things what we need as human beings. Our safety needs, our health needs, moving into the future, our space needs, as far as outer space, all our needs, our safety, for our creative needs. Okay, this is all part of being a human being, to advance forward in our thinking. All of our scientific needs, our artistic needs, needs for humanity. This is what we're working for, to satisfy, not to make a profit. That's not important. Economic democracy means true command and administration of the industries and social services by the workers through a democratic government based on their economic organization and not controlled and managed by a fraction of a percentage of the population as in the market economy. Yes, in other words, what we're going to have, boys and girls, we vote for all our needs at the workplace. We vote for our administrators. Also, as far as our government is concerned, we vote according to our occupation. The Congress will be represented not by the area of the country you live. Our representatives will be representing by our occupation. In other words, if 3% of the population is in education, then 3% of the people in Congress will be educators, and all their decisions are involved in education, because people in education know what we need as far as education. If 6% of the population are farmers in this country, then 6% of the House of Representatives will be farmers, of our Congress will be farmers. Okay, because farmers know how to farm. They know farming needs. What is needed as far as to produce safe food, not foods from dangerous pesticides. They know way more than we do on this, and how to produce more food. So farmers, if you're a farmer, you vote on farming issues. Okay, it's totally different. It's not based on where you live. Because the way technology is, boys and girls, that's obsolete anyway. Our communication is, we could communicate with somebody in Asia in 30 seconds. Just flip on the computer and we're there talking to that person. So this is we're talking about a society that's caught up. Our culture is caught up with the technology. Anyway, that's what we mean by economic democracy. In the near future, future episode, I'm going to talk more about economic democracy. I'm going to present the paper to you, which will give us more details about it. Anyway, whoa, look at this. It's a picture of Karl Marx, boys and girls. Look at him. Look at him. If you put a red cap on him, he looks like Santa Claus. Oh my goodness, I think Christmas is a communist plot, boys and girls. Don't buy Christmas presents. It's a communist plot. Okay. Obviously, Karl Marx, or not so obviously, you may find this interesting, boys and girls. He's a very important man in history and understanding our social world, and he's been very misrepresented as far as what he's all about. For instance, if you look at the former Soviet Union and China, they consider themselves Marxist. However, if you read what Marx has written, and you see what the Soviet Union, former Soviet Union and China set up in the name of Karl Marx, it's two different things. He's been very misrepresented. And we're going to clear that up as we go through different episodes. This will be the first one. I think you're going to find him very interesting. By the way, boys and girls, in a future episode, I'm going to talk about Marx on Lincoln. Did you know Marx wrote to Lincoln? We're going to talk about that in a future episode. Did you know during that time he worked for a newspaper, and almost all the newspapers at that time, during Lincoln's time, before the Civil War was over, criticized Lincoln. Imagine that, criticizing Lincoln. As a matter of fact, they said he was stupid. Could you imagine Abraham Lincoln considered stupid? Karl Marx supported Abraham Lincoln from the very beginning, and you're going to find that very interesting. So there's a lot of misrepresentation of Marx, and we're going to talk more and more about that. Okay, let's go on here. Anyway, this is what he looked like. Kind of looks like Santa Claus. All right. Karl Marx, he was 1883, that's when he was born, that's when he died, held that sociologists must not only describe society, but change it. Basically, you have two different types of sociologists. You have sociologists who are involved in just describing the way society is, and then you have other ones that say there's a problem in a society and we have to change it for the better. Karl Marx said that is the duty of sociologists, to change society for the better. Okay, and Karl Marx, if you look at the time period, because he was around the time, if you look at that time period of Abraham Lincoln, he did write a letter to Abraham Lincoln. He supported Lincoln. He supported the end of slavery. If you look at that time period, boys and girls, in the United States, every religion in the United States supported slavery, except for the Quakers. Matter of fact, if you look at the history of the world, all religions in their history have supported slavery. So this is something to realize. You look at Marx and you look at the history of religious organizations. Okay. Now, anyway, he held that sociologists must not only describe society, but change it.